Hi ladies, welcome to Alluvia Collective. You are in the Explore page, which is the free part of the site where I've got a whole number of trainings you can take a look at to find out sort of little bite-sized bits of information and also get an idea about what tier one of the membership is going to be like. Where each week I'll unpack another subject and bring in experts in. There'll be a live webinar around it where people can ask questions live. You can either join live or you can watch it later. I'll send out a SIF sheet where I sort of take out the key points of that learning. And then people can ask questions in our community chat, which I think is going to be the rich gold dust. So this one is around hormones, estrogen and progesterone, those two hormones that we have come to know a lot more about in the last few years. And I've taken this information from Dr. Mary Clare Haver, who's considered the sort of one of the most experts on the subject, certainly on social media, and done lots of podcasts. And I think she's amazing. She's a gynecologist, and I hope to get on a doctor to help us sort of understand the HRT side of this in Alluvia. Again, a big part of starting Alluvia is around me curating information and misinformation, but also knowing a lot of these experts are very good at one area of it, and I wouldn't necessarily take their expertise. They've all become experts at everything. And for example, Mary Clare Haver, yes, is the expert on hormones and HRT, but I don't believe she is the expert on, for example, nutrition or training. But we're going to use her information here to understand these two hormones. So estrogen, this hormone that I don't know about you ladies, but in my teens, 20s, and 30s, and actually all of my 40s, because all of this stuff only happened when I was hit my 50s in terms of information, is I just thought estrogen and progesterone were the two hormones that were in the contraceptive pill. I thought they were around reproduction and either having babies or not having babies. I did not realize their full body impact. Now, estrogen, most of all, is the one we talk about, but that it has receptors in pretty much every single part of the body: the brain, the heart, the bones, the skin, the gut. It is everywhere. And it has such an incredibly powerful function on this impact to our system, on our brain and our mental health around serotonin and dopamine, so our happy hormones. So loss of it then is going to lead to anxiety, brain fog, poor mental health, sleep disruption. It also offers neuroprotection against Alzheimer's. And one of the reasons for that is that it is a very powerful, natural, inbuilt anti-inflammatory. So as we lose it towards the end of perimenopause, and obviously it tanks into menopause, if we're not replacing any of it through HRT, it is going to have quite an impact to those systems. On our heart, our cardiovascular system, on our joints, our ligaments, our tendons, on our whole skeletal system. It can cause a drop in bone density, giving our increased risk of osteoporosis, which is huge unless we do something about it. And we all know that it stimulates collagen and causes our skin to get more wrinkly, our hair to thin, dehydration, those things that we just love. The hidden systems. Now, gut health is one for me that has been really badly affected. It really does change your gut microbiome, the loss of estrogen. Bloating, IBS flare-ups. It can cause new autoimmune things that, cause them to flare up. People are reporting, all sorts of new things happening at this phase of their life that they didn't have before. Metabolism. Estrogen is an anabolic hormone, which means it promotes muscle. So when we lose it, it becomes catabolic. It is working against us. So what do we do about that? That's quite hard. And urinary tract, so many women report increased urinary tract infections, vaginal dryness, all of these things estrogen is responsible. So taking action is around educating ourselves. That's what we're doing here. It's around therapeutic options. So hormone replacement therapy, if that's an option for you and something you're keen on. I personally, started taking HRT quite early in my journey when symptoms started, and it was a game changer for me. I know everybody's different. targeted nutrition, resistance training, the things that we've got to do to counterbalance these negative impacts of estrogen leaving our system. This estrogen decline, the cognitive forgetfulness, mood swings and insomnia, the physical, the joint stiffness, the dry eyes, I've had that one terribly, thinning gums, bleeding gums, digestive problems, and vascular problems. Rising blood pressure is also one lots of women report. Now, progesterone is definitely the hormone women know less about, but actually it's the one that tends to tank first. So for me in perimenopause, I was lucky enough to have my bloods done and my hormones tested, and my progesterone had just left the building. My estrogen was skyrocketing and I had no progesterone, which is why I had anxiety and shocking sleep disturbance on top of already having that before as a brain injury survivor. So it is not just about protecting the uterus. And again, the progestin, this is training for another day, although it's in here, is we've got to know the difference between progestin, which is the synthetic progestin that's in like your IUD or the contraceptive pill in the Mirena, and micronized progesterone, which in most of the countries, certainly New Zealand and Australia and the UK, it's called Estrogen. It's the tablet that you take at night. And that is a bioidentical hormone. It's considered much safer, and that has a more calming effect on our nervous system. So personally, just my own story, I have the Mirena because I had issues with my endometrial lining, which is new. And I also take 2 Estrogen because of my sleep and stress and issues around anxiety. So it's safe for me to have all of those, and I am not letting them go. They have different functions. So yes, signs of your low progesterone, very much into that, and as perimenopause goes on, mood instability, high cortisol. So they have an inverse relationship, low progesterone, higher stress response and racing thoughts, sleep disruption and brain fog. So it calms the brain. It has this GABA activation. So it's super important to know that it's not just about estrogen and how important progesterone is to this brain impact of perimenopause and menopause, which I personally know from most of my girlfriends and my clients and the women I speak to. I think this is one of the hardest parts of this phase, is how we feel in our mind, our emotional, the change to our emotional and mental stability, the neuroprotection that it has, and the sleep aid. And we all know, I certainly do, and sleep is what I'm going to be unpacking a great deal. Without it, life just feels very, very difficult. So getting some progesterone is really important. Clinical takeaways, timing matters. So she's saying HRT started early in the transition, shows the best results for neuroprotection against Alzheimer's. So, that she's saying get onto it in perimenopause, don't wait till later. The method of delivery, that oral micronized progesterone taking at night, is the gold standard for treating anxiety and insomnia. That's certainly what I've done. I do know, though, some women are that they cannot take it. I've got, actually, would you believe, my sleep specialist, she finds progesterone does the opposite to her around sleep, so she has to take it in the morning. All of this has to be done with your healthcare provider. And absorption, taking it with a small amount of fat can double its absorption. It's super important. Same with estrogen, another conversation for another day, which is if you are taking HRT, the application of these hormones and the absorption of them is very different between different women and can have a massive impact. So thank you, ladies. That's just a teeny tiny bit about estrogen and progesterone. So much more on these, and I really hope to get experts on board to support us understanding more about this. So thanks for joining, and I hope to see you soon and where we can chat more. Take care.